I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I've been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable.
She is so reasonable. Hey, you guys. Hey. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. Guess what? I am Zainab Johnson. Guess what? On a scale from white supremacy to DEI, how reasonable have you been this week? Tell me. Okay, so this week on I'm Reasonable. First, before I even get into what we're talking about in this episode, thank you. Thank you to everyone who tuned into the Weekend Live, which is the new accompaniment to this show. If you missed it, it's available on my page for you to watch if you want to. We was talking about farting on a plane. Today on I'm Reasonable, we are going to talk about a comedy clip I posted. We're going to talk about that and What's Up with Z in that segment, the What's Up with Z segment. And then in the main topics, in Z main topics, you see how I'm trying to put the Z in the Z main instead of the main, Z main, in Z main topics. We are going to talk about planes filled with immigrants not permitted to land in certain countries. Is Barack Obama having an affair with Jennifer Aniston? Of course not, but we're going to talk about it. Why are eggs so expensive? And lastly, the DEI of it all, boycotts, buy-ins. We're going to talk about it. But first, where can you guys come see me live, you ask? Well, February 6th through the 8th, I will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the Improv, the Pittsburgh Improv, February 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then I will be in Chicago. I'll be in Chicago, Illinois, February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. February 21st through the 23rd, I will be in Chicago. Then Tempe, Arizona, March 8th. New York City, April 4th. Toronto, April 11th and 12th. Portland, Maine, April 13th. May 2nd through May 4th, Arlington, Texas. June 19th through the 21st, Baltimore. And then way at the end of 2025, I will be in Addison, Texas, December 5th through the 7th. But in between now and then, so many more dates will be added. So just stay tuned. It will all be added, okay? If you are not in any of those cities I named, nowhere near, well, you can watch me online, especially if you're watching this. There is an all crowd work show that I did. It is available on YouTube as we are engaging right now. It's called The Crowd Work Show, A Notebook. If you watch it, you'll understand why it's called The Notebook. And it ain't got nothing to do with the love story. Anyway, you can also watch my special, Hijabs Off. It is only available on Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, and that is available for you to watch. You can also listen to it. The audio is available, and you can listen to that anywhere in the world as long as you can buy and stream audio, okay? Hijabs Off. So go ahead. All the details to all of that I just said is in the details of this podcast. So all you really got to do is scroll down and click away. While I have you clicking, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and like it. That's the thumbs up, right? Go ahead and share it. Shout out to Still I Rise, who is a moderator on the Weekend Live that we're doing every Sunday, as I said before, an accompaniment to this show. So I just want to shout her out real quick for being a wonderful moderator last weekend. And yeah, let's get into the show, right? Let's get into it. I need my braids done over, but that is not what we are here to talk about. Oh my God. What's up with Z? What is up with me? All right. So, of course, you guys know I'm a stand-up comedian. If you don't know, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian. And I post clips and jokes online, et cetera, et cetera. And I posted recently a clip, it was when I was watching the presidential inauguration. And I just was, I was in New York City and I was going up doing spots. And I was talking about like current events, and I posted a clip. Here's the clip. Here's the joke. It's sad though watching all them executive orders. Oh, it's sad. Watching those executive orders, right? Oh my God. So many people head of DEI programs laid off. Then you ain't even got to do this on the first day, but he made it his business. In the United States, there's only 2 genders. 2, male, female. Sad. I'm like, I know they mad. This is the first time we know exactly who they are. Because all our life we've been like, they had said, and we like, who the fuck is they? But today, we know exactly who they are, and they are very upset. Okay, so one, I want to say, if you don't get the joke, move on. Move on. That's the thing about comedy. It's not stand-up comedy. It's an art form. And like any other art, a painting, a song, a television show, a film, a sculpture, like any other piece of art, it is subjective. It is how whatever subject receives it, right? Forget what the artist intended. It's about how, if you can receive it. If you don't receive a piece of art, well, if it ain't for you, you move on, right? I feel like stand-up comedy is the only art form that people feel like they in order for it to be validated, you got to get it. No. If I went to the Louvre, right? And I say this humbly, but matter of factly, spent hours in the Louvre, spent hours waited online, watch people fight over trying to take pictures with paintings and sculptures. Let me tell you what, I did not get it. I did it because it's like, oh, this is on the list of things you have to do when you're in Paris. So the first time I went to Paris, however many years ago, my sister and my brother-in-law was like, we're taking you to the Louvre. Now, they had been to the Louvre many times and love it. Love it so much that they were willing to go through the entire process all over again just so that I could experience it. Guess what? It wasn't for me. I was just in Paris a couple of months ago. You think I went to the Louvre? No, because I discovered a couple of years ago, this ain't for me. And I don't mean it's not for me as a Black woman. I mean that the art, I don't connect with it. And I'm not going to sit there and try to make myself connect with it. I'm not going to sit there and try to make myself understand it. If you don't get a joke, if a joke that I say goes over your head, guess what? I'm just not the comedian for you. And that is okay. I'm looking at that, like the comments of that joke, and people are like, somebody help me. I don't get it. Please, somebody explain it to me. No. The people who come to see comedians that they like, it's because they get the humor. So it's nothing wrong with, if you don't get the humor, you move on and you find the comedian whose humor you get. That is stand-up. Think about it like any other art form. You don't go and watch a movie and don't get it or don't enjoy it and then sit there and watch the movie 4 or 5 times. Can somebody explain this movie to me? Can y'all please help me understand why it's so good so that I could also think it's so good? No. You wasting your time. Move on. Especially a clip online. You know how many things people send me? Oh, first couple of seconds. Do I connect with this? No. Boom. Never think about it again. It could be news. It could be something that they deem fun. One of my closest friends sends me every day what she believes to be funny. Most of the things I don't believe them to be funny. I scroll right past. Let me click. Okay, yeah, no, I don't like. For me, I don't get humor or like I don't like watching animals do it. As crazy as it might, I don't know. For some reason, this don't really move me. So really fast, like I don't ask about it. What was I supposed to get from that video you sent me? It's art. You either get it or you don't. And if you don't get it, there is nothing wrong with that. Just move on and indulge in the art that you get. Second thing I want to say. And I don't say that like I'm trying to alienate people. I'm just saying it's so simple. It shouldn't, especially art shouldn't be that hard. And so I'm not trying to say you dumb because you don't get my jokes. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm not trying to say you wrong. I'm not trying to say that you're anything like that. It's just, it should be easier than that. It should be. And if it's not, that just means that we not on the same page. So you got to go either find another page or go to another book or go to another section. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I've said this before, but sometimes we have to parallel one part of our life to something else way more pragmatic to kind of understand that, like, we're doing a lot over here that if it was over here, we would not be doing that. Second point I want to make. Do not use my material to perpetuate your homo, trans, non-binary phobias. Please, okay? I noticed so many comments that was like, yup, they got to get out of here. Oh, they going to find out today. Yeah, because they don't exist. And I was like, wait, oh, okay. So a lot more people missed the actual joke, but we're very happy to feel validated by their prejudicial opinions. People really be online just waiting for their prejudices to be justified. Don't use my material to do that, please. This actually happened to me before. I told a joke about this was around the time of the Me Too stuff was happening. Not that Me Too isn't still happening. I'm sure there's a lot of women still saying Me Too. But Amen. And theys and thems, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who have been violated in some way. But I told a joke about a guy giving me a compliment and me, not receiving it as a compliment because I wasn't attracted to him, and or not him giving me a compliment, but just whatever his makeup was, whatever he said, I took it one way, right? And so the point of my joke, and I use myself and my situation as an example, is to, like, one thing said by two different people can be taken two different ways, right? Because I think what we forget a lot is, like, each situation is contextualized, right? And so, and there is a such thing as, like, privileges, right? Whether we want to call it pretty privileges, whatever, right? And my joke was in no way saying, oh, if he looked good, he could sexually assault you. That's crazy. That's crazy, and probably one of the most unreasonable things that could ever be said in the world. So you know that's not what I'm saying. But if you think about it, right, if we take it out of that scenario, which I have to do a lot for people to really, like, get it, if we take it out of, like, looks and, like, oh, are you trying to say if a man is, has a lot of money, or if he has power, or if he's good looking and it's okay, if you like the man and it's okay, it's only stalking because he's unattractive? No. While I get the humor in that, no, right? Think about this. So if a powerful, rich, wealthy person decides not to go to an event, right? They decide not to go to an event because they're rich, wealthy, powerful, etc., influential, etc. We will decide the narrative is they didn't go because they did not want to. Where if a person who is, let's say, quote unquote, insignificant. I don't believe any person is insignificant, but let's just say that a person is deemed to be insignificant, poor, and they say that they didn't go to the event. We will make that narrative as they can't go. They couldn't go because they are poor. They are right. And so just that socioeconomic thing changes the very same result. All that to say, please do not use my material. Do not use my stand-up material to perpetuate your inability for empathy and compassion. And your overzealousness to be divisive and hateful. Please don't. It's not in the spirit of it. I don't write my jokes in the spirit of any of that. Okay. Main topics. DEI, the DEI of it all. If you don't know, DEI is an acronym that stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it was established to promote fair treatment and equal participation for all people, especially groups that have historically been discriminated against based on their ethnic makeup, their gender, and or disability, right? So that is what DEI is: diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, this could be traced back to the 1960s, paralleling with the civil rights movement, right? But in the early 2000s, very, very early 2000s, maybe even before then, but from what I can remember, early 2000s, there was a very public push to incorporate DEI initiatives at studios, like television studios, film studios, corporations. I don't know if you guys remember 30 Rock, TV show 30 Rock, Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan. At one point during the show, they have Queen Latifah play a character. She either played like the head of the NAACP or like a political figure, right? Well, she was running for office in some way, but she had came down on the network and the show, because 30 Rock is basically a show about making a show, right? Making a show on NBC, a show on NBC, making a show about NBC, specifically a sketch show. And she basically was like there, her character was there because they talk about what's happening in the real world of television. And so while all of these networks were creating all of these DEI initiatives, they sort of parodied that on the show, right? I also remember a friend of mine, he started a film festival, the Diversity Film Festival. It was called Shortcuts. And that was like in maybe like 2004 or something like that, 2004, 2005. And it really propelled a lot of people's careers. Seriously. And this was he started the film festival by himself. And there was an executive over at Universal that was like, hey, can we partner with you? Can we do? And then next thing I knew, by the time I moved out to Los Angeles and was doing comedy and everything, every single network had a diversity showcase, a stand-up diversity showcase, everything, right? Now, because of this, companies started hiring and announcing, all of these like DEI initiatives because it looked good, right? It looked good for them to do that. But it allowed them to keep a very specific consumer base. As I speak, keep that word consumer in mind, right? But on the other side, there were a lot of artists and creatives and professionals and entrepreneurs that benefited from these initiatives. Okay. Now, with our new administration, the Trump administration, Trump's second term, one of the first things that he did was he got rid of the DEI initiatives governmentally. And then, of course, corporations that want to be in good with him and or did not give a shit about DEI in the first place followed suit. And of course, it was very easy for them to follow suit because, like I said, they did not care in the first place. It is very easy. And I hope that no one out there is naive enough to believe that these corporations care about making us feel good, doing it because it's right, because it'll help the people, because all voices and stories should be heard and represented. And don't we want, a diverse, level of thought? And no. Because all they care about is money. That's all they care about is money. How much money can they make and how much money they can keep. That is capitalism. Let me look up the definition for capitalism. Okay. Capitalism is an economic system where private individuals and businesses own the means of production and operate them for profit. An economic system where private individuals and businesses own the means of production and operate them for profit. They don't operate them because it's for the good of the world. They don't operate them because it'll make people feel good. They don't operate them because it will help the public. They operate them for profit. For profit. And the thing about monopoly capitalism is that it creates a system where you only have one place to consume whatever it is that you need. And so people get accustomed, right, to shopping at the Targets of the world, the Walmarts of the world, the Amazons, because it's those businesses pushed out the independent business, the small business owners. They pushed them out, ate them up. And we've allowed it to happen in the pursuit of, I'm just trying to make ends meet, right? And I need this thing cheaper. Over there, they was charging this, but I could get it from this place. They rolling back prices. That's what I need in my life. I got a big old family, or I'm struggling to pay off my student loan, whatever the story is. And so eventually, as people are accustomed to shopping at these few places, these huge places, these places that have monopolized the market, at the point where they decide to do what they want and say, we don't got to stand for nothing except profit, and we don't give a shit what you stand for. Because guess what? Where else are you going to go to purchase? Where else are you going to go to consume? Where else? So let's talk about the boycott of it all, right? Let me just tell y'all what. If you watch the Crowdworks show on YouTube, there's a joke in there that does not age well. Okay, I said, and this is true. I said every time they say boycott something, all I be hoping is that they don't say Target. Every single time they ask me to boycott something, I'm just crossing my fingers. Please don't say my baby Target. Please don't talk about the love of my life, Target. Today, that day has come. Al Sharpton said, and I quote, DEI was a remedy to the racial institutional bigotry practiced in academia and in these corporations. He called for a boycott of companies abandoning their DEI commitments and a buy-in at places unwavering in their commitment. One of the places, I think the place that he actually went to was Costco, which Costco has. And this is all changing. This is changing by the minute. 5 days ago, I might have said, well, at least we can still go to Target. And then went to sleep, woke up, we can't go to Target no more, right? Al Sharpton said, let's do a buy-in at the places that are unwavering in their commitment to DEI, and Costco is one of those. But here's the thing. I just read on January 5th that Costco had to recall all its eggs because of salmonella. So it feels like we just stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? It might have not been salmonella. I think it's the bird flu, which is why eggs are so expensive. If you've been wondering, I was shocked. I went to Trader Joe's the other day, and it said there was a sign in the eggs department that they had a bunch of eggs. So I was trying to have groceries delivered, right? And none of the eggs was available. The only eggs that was available was $12 a carton. And I said, "What? These must be golden eggs. I must eat this egg, and then I'ma lay a golden. I'ma lay $1,000 because why is this carton of eggs damn near $13, right? Anywho, so I go to Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's has eggs, but they have a sign that says only 2 cartons of eggs per household or something like that, or per purchase, something like that, right? And I was like, now I have never in my life, you guys, not as an adult responsible for myself, I have never in my life bought 2 cartons of eggs, ever. I never even bought the 18 pack of eggs. I'm the type of shopper, because I do eat eggs, but not like, for the most part, go to the store and I get the half a dozen of eggs. That's my experience with eggs. But when they was like, well, you can't have that many eggs, you can only have 2 cartons, I was like, dang, does this mean eggs ain't about to be available? Well, let me buy 2 cartons. I was looking at the expiration date, like, how long do these last? Because this is going to take me a while to eat. So how long do I have if I buy 2 cartons of eggs, right? The eggs are expensive. And I was like, what? Is it just inflation? This can't just, because you know how people be like, inflation. And I'm like, yeah, but it's inflating very specific things. You know what I'm saying? Why just the eggs? And then I realized is, yes, everything, the price of groceries are going up. And the price of groceries are going up, eggs included, but that's not the reason why eggs are so expensive. Eggs are so expensive because of bird flu. Bird flu resurfaced in like 2022, and you know, farmers got to recall all of them eggs, just like Costco had to. When a bird flu outbreak occurs, egg producers are forced. I'm quoting this from, I think from NerdWallet, because I was trying to figure it out. When an outbreak occurs, egg producers are forced to cull their flocks, which impacts the supply of eggs headed to grocery stores. So that's the reason why egg prices are up. Anyway, in terms of the boycotting, I do believe that the public narrative is and will continue to make Black people the forefront, like put the responsibility on Black people to boycott because of the pulling away from DEI, right? In the same way that when we think about everything that's happening with immigration, we're going to talk about it in a second. When we think about everything that's happening with immigration, what's the face of immigration right now? Latin, Hispanic, right? In that same way, the responsibility, the burden is going to, in my opinion, be put on Black American people as if we are the ones that benefit from DEI the most. I do agree with boycotting. If for no other reason than to end the monopolistic nature, like the monopolistic power that these corporations have, right? And I know, and I will iterate this, that change requires sacrifice. Change is difficult. Change is uncomfortable. But it would be so unreasonable of me not to point out that the biggest recipient of DEI are white women. In the same way that the biggest recipient of welfare, when welfare was first established in this country, white women. Sometimes it's going to sound crazy. I know I'm going to get backlash for this. Sometimes I'll be watching comedians, white girl comedians, and they be like, I'm gay, I'm crazy. I'll be like, oh, they just trying to find like some sort of diversity. They be trying to find some sort of way to like, get in a program. Not that there aren't white gay women and not that there aren't white women that aren't, on the spectrum. But sometimes I'll be like, okay, so now y'all all, you had a fling with a girl in college, and now now you won the diversity contest. The largest recipients of any DEI initiatives programs in this country are white women. And so while I think that we can be like bullied into, okay, well, we got to stop spending our money. We do. And we do have to be really solution oriented and pragmatic in terms of like, how do we move forward so that we not in a constant state of, well, where is it safe to give my money to? And I love and appreciate, and we've talked about this before, the buying black concept, the keeping the money in your community. I love that. Love that. But it can be quite hard to do if there's not a lot of ownership. Or if like I found that my friend sent me a video where in, I believe it was South Carolina, a black couple had opened up an entire shopping center filled with black businesses. That's wonderful. That's amazing. Except I don't live in South Carolina. He said, if I was a billionaire, I would open up a black supermarket. I said, yeah, well, billionaire. So why are you telling me? Tell the people that tell all them multimillionaires and billionaires that that you talk to me about all the time. Tell them. I said, and when you get it up and running, I got 0.02% on it. I want the same thing that you want. But I just want to encourage people who are watching, like black people specifically, black American people specifically, but really all people of color, because y'all know it starts with us everywhere in the world. It starts with us. Yeah, you can pretend like that's not the truth, but it starts with us. So don't feel super pressure to like, okay, now I got to just abandon, everything that, yeah. And then tomorrow, because here's the thing. It's like, okay, I got to find somewhere new to shop. And then tomorrow you're going to find out that place got something that don't align with our livelihood. And then you're going to have to move on. What I'm trying to say is this is going to be a constantly shifting thing, especially with this administration. So do not beat yourself up about it. And don't go to war with your sister or your brother over it. When really, the only people that should be screaming at the top of their lungs are white women. Let me tell you something, because my friend, most people know this, but a very close friend of mine is Tabitha Brown, and I'd never speak on her business. That's for her to do. She posted a video. This has been circulating, right? She posted a video because she has partnerships with Target, Walmart, et cetera, whatever, right? They'll make you believe that the people who buy her products the most look like us. Yeah, maybe Donna's recipe, but pots and bathing suits. You see how Drew Barrymore was like, So just remember, when they telling you to boycott something, which I agree with, but also look at your white sis and be like, and my friend sent me a video. This man was laughing. This white lady lost her job. And she was like, and they was like, oh yeah, because you was the DEI person. We're not doing DEI no more. She's like, what? And then the guy in the video, he's like, I know she wanted to say black. Who knows what she wanted to say? The fact is she got a rude awakening. Yeah. And I mean, I think that that's happening a lot. People have not realized yet that they voted against their own interests. I also feel like discussing this in the most reasonable way is to give people alternate options, right? I feel like that's what media does. They tell us all the problems and no solutions. It's like, so now you've just upset me. You've created chaos, and you've given me you've pointed me nowhere. So I'm gonna attempt to provide some solutions. Oh shoot, I gotta go soon. Freak. Okay, so if you want to boycott Amazon, right? People have gotten really used to shopping at Amazon. It's like, and listen, I say this being on an Amazon show. But they already paid me, so. You do not need those nose clippers overnight. Instead of buying all of that shit that you get from Amazon, that you just so addicted to ordering because it's $3 from China, instead of doing that, invest that money in Goldman Sachs. They are still a company committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. You don't want to go to Target no more. You don't want to go to Walmart no more. Aside from the eggs, you live next to a Costco, hit up the Costco. I live in California, and a company that is still on the list of people who are committed to their DEI initiatives is Kroger, the Kroger brand. And while we don't have Kroger, like I see Kroger grocery stores in like Michigan, like places in the Midwest. While we don't have actual Kroger stores here, we do have stores that are under their brand. Our store out here is called Ralph's, but that's a Kroger brand. So just look up most corporations. You might not have that specific corporation near your house, but you'll have like, it might just be under a different name. In the same way that they change, like on the East Coast, Hellman's mayonnaise is Hellman's, and then on the West Coast, it's Best Foods. Other companies that are at this point, from the time that I'm, as I said, this could be changing, the time that I am recording this podcast, that are still committed to their DEI programs is Chase Bank, Ben & Jerry's. People love Ben & Jerry's. You go on TikTok, everybody is like, yeah, it's Ben & Jerry's, because Ben & Jerry's, like they TikTok, Instagram, it don't even look like they sell ice cream. It look like they are all for the people and the people's rights. But here's the thing, you can't survive on ice cream, right? And here's another thing. You know what? Let me just say the companies real quick, and then I'll get back to this. Ben & Jerry's, Apple, Elf Beauty, and like I said, this is ever changing. And so if you buy 20 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice creams, like, okay, I still mess with them. They still in line with my morals, my values, my livelihood, you know what I'm saying? They not trying to kill my people. They not trying to, all of that stuff. If you buy 20 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and then tomorrow we find out Ben & Jerry's is like, you know what? I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna go over there to them, right? You know what I'm saying? Because they giving all types of tax cuts and stuff like that. We gonna get up out of here and go with the orange man. Don't throw your Ben & Jerry's pints away. That ain't going to do nothing but waste money and product. Just be like, okay, well, that was the last time they got my money. It's like, this is not a time. And what when was the inauguration? On the 20th? Yeah, it was on the 20th. So 8-9 days in. Like I told y'all last episode, pick your battles. Boy, listen, not giving your money to a company that does not value you. They value your money, but they don't value you. I think that it is fine. I think that it's great to find an alternative. What I'm saying is, don't kill yourself over it. Try hard, but don't kill yourself. It's just what they're trying to do, the discourse and the chaos that they are trying to create. Don't allow it. Don't allow it. And last thing I'll say on this, I actually like to hit people, like for products that I really like, I like to hit people directly and ask them where if it is like small business and stuff like that, I like to ask people like, where would you like me to buy this? Like, where does it benefit you the most for me to buy it? Order it from your website. And I know there's like certain things we can't, if I'm a mother with 3 kids, I can't wait for y'all to send me, I can't wait 2 weeks for y'all to send me toilet paper, but certain things that maybe not a necessity, certain things that I don't need immediately. I go right to the consumer and I'm like, hey, where can I get this? I use like Johnson & Johnson's products sometimes. Do I? I actually don't anymore, but I do use Palmer's. Anyway, I looked up Johnson & Johnson because they're a company that is quote unquote still committed to DEI, but all of their products are still selling Target. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, be mindful, be intentional, be educated, but don't cause yourself too much stress, and don't allow people to put the burden only on you for something that you ain't even really benefiting from like that. Okay. Is Barack Obama having an affair with Jennifer Aniston? Absolutely not. But I said this to you guys already. Let's watch this video.
Came out a couple of weeks ago in touch said the truth about Jen and Barack.
That was of all the calls you get from your publicist where you're just like, oh no, what's it going to be? Or the email saying, some cheesy tabloid is going to make up a story, and then it's that.
Yeah. Does your publicist ever go like, is there any truth to this? Or is it...
No, that is absolutely untrue.
Well, I know it's not true. Yeah. I just don't know if everybody knows.
Well, it is untrue.
Some people, it is untrue. So the truth about Jen and Barack is that there is no truth.
There is no
untrue.
truth.
You know Barack Obama.
I've met him once.
Met him once.
I know Michelle more than him.
What is there a truth about you and Michelle that we should know?
That is not true.
So knowing that.
This is a public service announcement. I really like Jennifer Aniston. Like, I don't dislike Jennifer Aniston. We got to stop doing stuff to our face. As women, we just have to embrace, as people, because I know men do it too, but we have to just embrace that part of this life, our journey in this life is to be a baby, to grow into an adult, live as an adult for most of our lives, and then we're gonna get up out of here. And part of the journey to getting up out of here, being an adult and getting up out of here, is aging. This is just a part. This is the journey. This is the journey for every human being. We gotta stop. We have to stop doing stuff to our face. Makeup, fine. You want to make sure you put on extra sunblock. You want to stay out the sun. But we have to just stop doing things to our face. Michelle got missing November 6th, was it? We ain't seen Michelle since November 6th. We have not seen Michelle since November 6th. And so tabloids were like, you know what? Maybe we could bring Michelle out if we put these rumors out about Barack having an affair. It's ridiculous. And let me tell you who don't want the smoke. Jennifer Aniston. Don't want this. You gotta be a wild woman. You gotta be out your mind to want the smoke that's gonna come with a public affair with Barack Obama. You don't want the smoke. Don't know yeah. You either so stupid. And literally, you don't want the smoke. People don't even like Hillary like that. And what's the girl? Monica Lewinsky said it's the worst thing that happened in her life. It ruined her life. Nobody wants the smoke of being Barack Obama's mistress. Don't nobody want that smoke. So if there is a mistress out there, I have no idea. I don't care. I hope not. I love Michelle. So I hope that man is treating her with the utmost respect. But if there is a mistress out there, stay hidden. Stay hidden. But you see, Jennifer Aniston was like, yeah, no. I met him one time. Let's get it. Because she looked at the camera. She ain't even answer. Who was that interviewing her? Was that Jimmy Kimmel or who was that? I can't even remember. One of the late night hosts. She ain't even look at him. She looked in the camera. Yeah, no, I met him one time. I actually know Michelle more. But that's how Michelle got missing. They trying so hard to get a statement from Michelle. They trying so hard to bring Michelle out of wherever she at. Michelle said, yeah, no. I'm going to sit down for a little while. Have a nice iced beverage. Watch the sun rise and set. And they said, you know what, let's release some, what Jennifer Aniston called it, some shitty tabloid. Let's release some, see if this will get her out. Michelle said, you don't want the smoke. Because Michelle knew. Michelle tried to tell y'all. Michelle tried. She tried to tell us. She tried to tell us.
Believe me, if Donald Trump is president again, at some point or another, that ugliness will touch all of our lives. And it will not matter what you look like, how you worship, who you love, or how you vote. If you don't make 6 or 8 or 12 figures, if you're not famous, if you criticize or disagree with him in any way, if he doesn't view you as his equal or relevant to his ambitions, I promise you, he will not think about you when he gets into the Oval Office.
Before we get out of here, the flights, right? Okay, so the another part of Trump's first couple of days is getting rid of migrants, right? Getting rid of people who are in this country illegally. And apparently they sent a bunch of planes, military-grade planes filled with migrants back to their countries, right? It was a bunch of countries that was like, oh, no, you can't land here. Here, let me play this video real quick.
NBC News has also learned this morning that the country of Colombia has recently turned away 2 deportation flights from the United States. Each of those flights held about 80 people, all Colombian migrants, according to a defense official. The aircraft, which were American military C-17s, were initially cleared to land in Colombia, but the president, Gustavo Petro, revoked diplomatic clearances for all U.S. flights, meaning no military or ICE flights will now be allowed to land. On Thursday, Mexico also denied access to American aircraft to land with migrants. On Friday, Guatemala allowed 3 American aircraft carrying migrants.
Guatemala was like, yeah, give them back. So Colombia, again, like I'm saying, in terms of things changing in a matter of days and hours, Colombia, everybody was like, yeah, that's me and my friend was talking about it. Me and another comedian. I was like, that's crazy. Did he not think about that? Like, yeah, they don't have to let you land. Then a nice 12 hours later or something, it was like, oh, okay, we'll come get them. They had a talk. Donald Trump threatened tariffs. And I was thinking like, well, what do we get? I know coffee is obvious, right? We get a lot of coffee from Colombia, but I was like, well, if he do raise the tariffs, if he do give y'all 25%, and then he was like, it was big threats. He was like, and then if you still don't do nothing, in a week, we're going to do 50% tariffs on any thing that you are trying to import into our country. And I'm like, well, what is it? What do we get from Colombia that we need like that? And so I had to look it up. And first of all, the U.S., this is in 2022, the U.S. imported around 15.6 billion goods, $15.6 billion in goods from Colombia. Of course, one of those goods was the coffee, right? That's obvious. And then it was like some flowers and bananas, some fruit. But the major export from Colombia was crude petroleum. Now, I didn't know I know what petroleum is, but I didn't know what crude petroleum was, so I looked it up. Crude petroleum, also known as crude oil, is used to make fuel and other products. And there you have it, folks. The Colombian president was like, you know what? We need them $16 billion. So what time y'all gonna be up? We'll send a plane. What time you getting up in the morning? Okay. You gonna be there, or should we stop at Mar-a-Lago and have some tea, or what? No, just pick up the people. All right, I gotta get up out of here. I got a doctor's appointment. I do have an Ask Z. Here's the thing about the Ask Z. I'll read it first. This Ask Z came from King Tut. That's what we're gonna call him, King Tut. He says, greetings, Zainab. Great podcast episode as usual. I was watching your take on Wicked and wondered if you had a take on the recent Beyonce Bowl Christmas NFL halftime performance. We posted a reaction on YouTube to her performance because she performed songs from her Cowboy Carter album for the first time. And in the process, she clearly chose the songs on her album that specifically addressed anti-Black racism in the country music genre in particular and America in general. In our analysis, we address this as well as the hidden symbolism Beyonce used in the performance rooted in hoodoo, African-American ancestral religion, and ancestral culture heritage. I know you take on her performance. I know your take on her performance within a socio-political context will be insightful. And he says, thank you. Let me tell you something. I hate to disappoint you. My take on her performance was only joy. It will not be insightful. It will not be insightful because, and I watched it multiple times. I mean, it's the first time that I think I tuned into a football game that wasn't the halftime show at the Super Bowl. I mean, I guess I've watched a few football games, whatever. But I know Netflix was streaming and I was scrolling through like, when is what is this? I don't got time for this. When is the performance? I've watched it a couple of times. Probably like 5, 6, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times. I love that performance. But I'm not one of them people. You know how you watch a YouTube video and it's like, and then when Kendrick said this is what he was symbolizing. And then when Beyonce did this is really, I just enjoyed it. So here's what I can do. I am going to include a link to their video, their reaction video, in the details of this podcast for anyone who is interested in all of the hidden symbolism rooted in the performance, and then you guys can enjoy. Okay? That's it for me today. I'm Zainab. This was not Ask Z. That segment was Ask Z. Thank you so much for tuning into I'm Reasonable. I'll see you guys on Sunday. And until then, stay reasonable. Bye.